Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Sanjay Suresh, and I'm a student at University of New England taking Cell Biology course 1050. Today in my video, I'm going to talk about prokaryotic-eukaryotic interactions. And here I'm going to give an example of a prokaryotic-eukaryotic interaction. So such an example is how microbes in the gut cause liver injury. So in this case, what is the prokaryotic microorganism? It is the bacteria. And what is the eukaryotic organism, the eukaryotic cell? That is our cells in the intestine, the liver, and the endothelium, and also cells that are present in our immune system, for example, the WBCs and the macrophages. So what happens when we get infected by a bacteria? Typically, bacteria that cause this, especially in liver abscess, are gram-negative bacteria, for example, Staphylococci, E. coli, and Klebsiella. So an example that I'm going to give of prokaryotic-eukaryotic interactions is how bacteria enter into our intestine and how they lead to liver disease. So what happens first? When the bacteria gets consumed, they come in contact with the epithelial cell barriers. And once these bacteria enter into the epithelial cell barriers, they pass through the cell barriers. So here we have one interaction. They pass through the cell barriers, and then they enter into the bloodstream, and after entering into the bloodstream, they go through the portal circulation, and then they enter into the liver. And here, some bacteria, while they're traveling to the bloodstream, they come in contact with the WBCs or macrophages. And here, what happens is these bacteria, they get engulfed by the neutrophils and macrophages. And here we have another contact where these neutrophils or white blood cells, they extend their surface, and then they cause endocytosis or phagocytosis, and then they engulf this bacteria. The remaining bacteria, they travel to the bloodstream, and through the bloodstream, they enter into the liver. And in the liver, we have specialized cells called as Kupffer cells. And these Kupffer cells are like the macrophages that are present in the liver that detect any foreign substances. So when the bacteria comes, these Kupffer cells are macrophages. They also trigger a signaling molecule which is present on the hepatocytes called TLR4. And this is a signaling pathway. And once this pathway gets signaled, they cause the release of various inflammatory mediators like interleukin-1 and interleukin-18. And also, they cause the activation of nuclear factor kappa B. This is a signaling trigger. This is a triggering event that occurs in the cell. And once these mediators, they get released, they come in contact with the cell, with the bacterial cell, and then they cause damage of these bacterial cells. And also, once these bacterial cells get damaged, there's also a lot of accumulation of white blood cells and neutrophils, which results in formation of pus and abscess, and there's necrosis and cell death present in the liver. So this is how, when you talk about the nuclear level or the cellular level, what happens here is once this signaling pathway gets activated, or the nuclear factor kappa B, these cells die, and then they lead to abscess and necrosis, which results in disease of the liver. So this is basically the pathogenesis of liver abscess, and this is how when we get infected with the bacteria, they cause liver abscess. So to brief off my video, 4 main contact sites where prokaryotic, the bacterial cell, comes in contact with the eukaryotic, the epithelial cell, is 1, when they come in contact with the epithelial cell barrier, they pass through it, and then after the epithelial cell barrier, they come in contact with the white blood cells, the neutrophils, and then they undergo phagocytosis, and the remaining of the bacteria, they enter into the portal circulation, and they enter into the liver, and in the liver, we see the macrophages and the Kupffer cells, which signal these TL4 pathways and the nuclear factor kappa beta. And there's also a release of interleukin-18 and interleukin-1, which move against this bacteria, and then they cause the death of this bacteria, which results in abscess. So in this video, we have 4 main points of where a prokaryotic bacteria comes in contact of a eukaryotic bacteria, and what are all the cellular levels that happen here. What are all the different, so when we talk about cellular levels, it's basically how these cells, they release the immune mediators, the interleukin, cytokines, and all these pathways that get activated, and how they cause death of the bacteria. And so that is a main interaction between a prokaryotic and eukaryotic, and that's how our body tries to get rid of these unwanted pathogens. So that is mainly what my video is about today. I hope you like my video, and please do subscribe to my channel and send me a thumbs up. Thank you.